Friday in December. What a wonderful time of the year. But it's not the time to go off on your holiday just yet. Give us another half hour at least of your time. Because we've got a couple of interesting businesses that we're going to be running our slide rules over. You surely have by now heard about the diamond boom that's going on in South Africa. We've had a number of the diamond entrepreneurs in the studio. Cliffy Elphick from Gem was here recently. We also spoke with the gents from Petra Diamonds. And we're going to be talking in just a moment to Theo, who some reckon, including Wayne McCurry, an old friend of his, is the smartest diamond operator, mining operator that is in the country. I don't know if Theo will either agree or disagree to that concept, but when you see the size of him, I certainly wouldn't be arguing on that point. And then a little later, we're going to be going into the construction sector. Yet another new listing, yet another Altex newcomer listing on the market today. But is this one different? Well, we'll find out from David Erskine, who's the chief executive and co-founder of a company called Urbicon. It made its debut this morning. We'll have a look at those numbers. Quite aggressive forecast, but I guess we've come to expect that now from most of the new listings. But first up, here's Theo. Good to have you in the studio with us. You've got a lot of fans, Theo. We've seen the share price of Diamond Core, even fans within the MoneyWeb office, I'll have you know. And I'm not surprised. You've done well for them so far. But why go from this 350 million rand company that's doing great to stake it all again, have another punt by putting a merger together with DRC, who really are looking further north and in an area where they might or might not find diamonds?
Well, Alec, I think what you've got to do as an explorer, we are a diamond exploration company. What you've essentially got to do is create a portfolio, and the stock in trade of an exploration company is access to acreage and to turn that acreage over. Now, whilst our acreage in South Africa is significant, the opportunities in the Congo and the size of the BRC tenure, which is in the right places, is infinitely bigger than ours. So what we're actually doing is de-risking our exploration portfolio by adding more acreage to it in prospective areas.
The other way around. In fact, it doesn't sound, going into an area like the DRC would sound like high risk, but you've explained that it isn't so. You diversify.
Yes, well, you must differentiate between geological risk and what people perceive to be country risk. Geological risk is completely different. There are only certain places in the world where we do find and discover diamond pipes. The DRC is one of those places, and it's very prospective for diamonds, and the DRC tenure is in all the right places. So that is how we approach it.
Very prospective. That means that geologists will tell you that there should be diamonds there, but why hasn't it been explored much to this point?
It has been explored, but exploration, mining, like any other business, is driven by technology. Technology has changed. There are new technologies available. In BRC, we have probably one of the leading kimberlite diamond explorationists in the world, in Dr. Mike DeWitt, and put the leading explorationist, or one of the leading explorationists in the world, onto good tenure. And I think that's a formula for success.
So if anyone's going to find the diamonds there, those big diamonds, it's going to be Mike DeWitt. Talking to your chairman, you really have got a powerful team together, and we'll go into that a little later, but talking to Simon Village on the radio earlier this week, he was explaining in words that I could understand that there's so many alluvial diamonds have been found in the DRC. In other words, those that have been washed away millions of years ago from the pipe. But the source has still not been discovered.
Yes. Well, essentially, west of Chikapa, in that particular area of the Congo, there's quite intensive alluvial diamond mining in the rivers, on terraces, on flats. But nobody's really found where these diamonds have come from, where they've eroded from. And that's the opportunity. And one of the opportunities that we see as Diamond Core, BRC Diamond Core, is that already we've identified what we call 22 mag anomalies, or geophysical anomalies, which merit further exploration.
How did you identify them?
Well, through geophysical techniques.
Flying,
maybe
photographs, that kind of.
Well, it's a technology called AirMag, which is a geophysical technology that basically uses the magnetic field of the Earth and measures differences in that to try and identify geological features which might be covered by topsoil or anything that's under the ground.
How was DRC lucky enough to get this big mining right?
Well, DRC is spun out of Banro. Banro is a mining company or gold exploration company in the eastern part of the Congo, as you know. When that entire package was put together, it had a whole portfolio of mineral rights. And that portfolio of mineral rights included diamond concessions. And essentially what Banro did was spin out their mineral rights into a new company called BRC. And that's what we identified, and that's what we merged.
How did Banro get into the Democratic Republic of the Congo so much earlier than everybody else?
I think Banro have been there for a considerable length of time. They've seen the good times and the bad times. And consistently and sustainably they've maintained their presence there and been very successful.
So they took a bet.
I think they took a bet.
And now it could be paying off.
One of the directors of the new BRC is Arnie Condat. He's an entrepreneur that's been involved in the Congo for quite a long time.
Entrepreneurs in Congo sounds a little bit like entrepreneurs in Perth.
Yeah.
They have a bad name, or they had a bad name. There have been even recent developments with some of those entrepreneurs who've been involved in the Congo who've I guess not the kind of people you'd like to do business with. What makes Banro different?
Well, Banro's got a track record there, and they've been sustainable. And if you go and examine, as we've done due diligence on their tenure, they've behaved in an impeccable manner. They pay their taxes, they do the right thing.
You're happy you got the right partners?
I'm very happy that we've got the right partners for us to go into a place like the Congo and recreate that type of portfolio on the ground would take several years and a couple of plenty of millions of dollars. So it's the opportunity cost of getting in is huge, and we've taken the view that BRC, and we've identified BRC as the people that we'd like to go into the Congo with.
You mentioned Dr. Mike Dibbett a little earlier. He's ex-De Beers, was there for 29 years, and is one of the experts. In fact, he ran De Beers' operations in other parts of Africa. Does he say DRC is the place where the big next hit will be?
Well, Mike believes that, and he believes that that's where the next big diamond discovery is going to be made. And myself and Mike, had a discussion about this, and I believe that he's correct. I believe that that's where it's going to be. And one must also not forget that the new BRC Diamond Corps has South African assets, and Mike has huge experience in the illegal diamond distribution of Western South Africa. So the team adds huge synergies to each other, and I think out of this we're going to create a much stronger business, an international platform which we can use to grow.
The fact that we haven't seen you involved in the bidding for the Cullinan Diamond Mine, or even let's sing in Lesotho, the two big stories in the diamond industry recently, is that because you were too small or otherwise occupied?
I think we were otherwise occupied, a bit of both, but our philosophy is different. We're trying to find something new. Petra has been very successful in their strategy, and they're buying up the old mines and turning them into accounts. That is also not a riskless strategy, but it's a strategy that brings near-term cash flow into your business. We focused more on bringing our alluvial production into play and creating a substantial portfolio for kimberlite exploration, which we believe that's where we're going to get the company maker, the really big kimberlite that's going to add.
And when you do that, would you mine it yourself or would you sell?
I believe we have the capability internally to be able to sample it and mine it ourselves. I don't think it's necessary that we go out and find a partner, but let's find the big kimberlite first, and then we'll make that decision.
It's an interesting story, and I think one that people can follow. Here you have expert, good miners, diamond miners, good operations in South Africa, well known, going to generate cash flow, going into the DRC to try and find the big hit. But what about the diamond market generally? How stable is that?
Well, at the moment, I just read the reports. There's huge. There's I think in the East, Hong Kong, the diamond sales are up. In Japan, importing diamonds. The diamond imports are up. Israel has exported month on month more polished. Out of the United States, the diamond sales are up.
Why? Why are diamonds booming?
I think with the wealth effect in the world, especially in the East, people have got money to spend and buy these goods. And things like the 3 carat and the bloodstones are showing there's exceptional demand for those. And in fact, at this point in time, there's a shortage of those goods. So there is definitely the demand for diamonds. The problem we face as an industry, or the challenge we face as an industry, is there's no new sources of supply that are coming into play to meet that demand.
But there are artificial diamonds.
Oh, I mean...
zirconiums and...
we're into gem quality diamonds, and I think if you do a survey of people having something that's 60 million years old or billions of years old on your finger or the synthetic, well, that's a matter of opinion.
So the rich people, even the nouveau rich people, want the real thing rather than the synthetics to show off with.
Correct.
And long may they continue in that route, I'm sure.
Thank you very much.
Well, good to have you in the studio. I told you it's an interesting story, isn't it? And it's one that, look, there's no question that there is risk involved, but a little bit of spice in your portfolio. It's one of those companies that you make an investment in it, and if it comes off, well, it can make everything else in your portfolio look decidedly ordinary. We're going to be looking at something that is decidedly ordinary right now. It's in the construction sector, but decidedly ordinary with a wonderful upside. The chief executive of today's new listing is David Erskine. Stay with us.